hours later, this is KTTC News.
Amid growing pressure to allow for more aid to get into Gaza, Israel will begin to implement daily 4-hour pauses in its fight. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Brock Burgi. We do begin tonight overseas, where despite the break for humanitarian efforts, the Israeli military says there will be no ceasefire in Gaza. NBC's Raf Sanchez reports from Tel Aviv.
The White House is saying today that after weeks of American urging, Israel has agreed to 4-hour humanitarian pauses in the fighting in Gaza every day, with a view to allowing Palestinian civilians to get out of the scene of the most intense combat in northern Gaza and to allow humanitarian aid to get in. Now, at this time, there is no indication that these humanitarian pauses are in exchange for the release of hostages held by Hamas. We have yet to see any sign from Hamas that they intend to release more of these 240 hostages. So we are now hearing from the Prime Minister's office here in Israel. They are not using the term humanitarian pause. They have consistently said that there will be no ceasefire as far as they are concerned until the hostages are released. But they are saying that they will continue to allow these so-called humanitarian corridors to be open so Palestinian civilians can leave Gaza City, head south where it is safer, not safe, but safer. We did speak earlier today with Israeli President Isaac Herzog. He had just received the latest Israeli intelligence on the hostages. He told us that at this time, there is no substantial offer from Hamas on the table that could lead to the hostages' release. He said that various third parties had been floating what he called optimistic reports, but as far as he is concerned, there is no viable offer from Hamas at this time. I asked him, does that mean that Israel's only option to recover the hostages is a military rescue? He said he wouldn't discuss that, but he did say there are thousands of Israeli officials, soldiers, and spies working around the clock to bring the hostages home. I did also press him on the growing number of Palestinian civilians killed by Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. He said Israel is doing everything they can to minimize civilian casualties, and he also blamed Hamas, saying that the group had hid its tunnels underneath residential areas. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Coming up a bit later, we're going to have more on this out of Washington, reaction from our White House correspondent, so stay tuned. Back here at home now, an Iowa man is dead after a single vehicle crash in Mower County this morning. According to the Minnesota State Patrol, the 53-year-old Kensett man was heading north on Highway 105 in Lyle Township when his Chevy Blazer went off the road and rolled over. The State Patrol says the man's name will be released tomorrow. No word tonight on what led up to that crash. Continuing coverage now for you, a Rochester teen is arrested after a fight at Century High School involving a knife. This is a story we first told you last night. Rochester police say a 15-year-old boy was taken into custody after pulling out a knife during a fight on campus Wednesday afternoon. Century staff reported that incident to the school's resource officer just after 2:30, saying several students were involved in the fight. Police say one student received a minor injury in the incident, and several other students and a teacher were threatened by the teen with the knife. After he was arrested, that teen was transported to the Anoka County Juvenile Detention Center. He is facing multiple felony charges, including second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon and threats of violence. Time now to get a quick check on our weather forecast. And a cooler day is on tap for us as we get ready for that much warmer air coming this weekend and into next week. Chief Meteorologist Nick Jansen live on the weather patio tonight with those details. Nick?
Hey, Brock, it's good to see you in the studio. I'm glad you didn't blow away here today with all the wind that we've had across the region today. We're finally calming some of those wind speeds down throughout the late evening hours tonight and through your day tomorrow. They will pick back up, though, through the weekend and into next week. That'll lead to some of those warm temperatures that Brock was hinting about. Some of those local peak wind gusts here today, we were up close to 37, 40 miles per hour at times at RST today. Most of us anywhere from about 25 to 35 miles per hour in terms of those peak wind gusts. Right now, we've calmed wind down to around 8 miles per hour. It's still a little gusty out here on the weather patio. Some stronger wind out to the west of I-35, but overall, through the rest of the night, notice we kind of dipped those wind gusts down to around 10 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then not looking at any type of gusts on the way for Friday. Lewis, not a live camera outside. Still some cloud cover here. Partly cloudy tonight. 44. It feels like 40. Wind out of the west at 8 miles per hour at RST. Temperatures locally, we were able to get into the 50s south of I-90. Most of us right now in the mid 40s here this evening. Future track radar picking up on maybe the chance for a couple sprinkles, but most of that just clutter. We have dry air down towards the surface, so that is evaporating. Really just looking at some cloud cover on the way through the evening hours tonight. A weak cold front moving through. That will bring in some cooler air on the way for Friday. So watch these temperatures getting down close to freezing, and then I think we fall down into the upper 20s for lows here tonight. Tomorrow, high temperatures might not make it out of the 30s. So you might be thinking, well, where is all the warmth? Well, just wait until I show you that 7-day forecast, because there could be multiple days next week where we're in the 60s. We'll talk about that coming up in your full forecast. Brock, we'll send it to you.
60s in November, Nick. You got to love that. Thanks so much. We will check in with you soon. Hey, something to think about if you own a Kia or Hyundai vehicle and you are without the new anti-theft software that is now out, there is an opportunity for you this weekend. The automakers are bringing mobile software upgrade service centers to multiple locations up in the Twin Cities area this weekend. Kia will do installations and upgrades at Canterbury Park in Shakopee going on tomorrow through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Upgraded software is designed to make it more difficult to use methods made popular, on social media to steal Kia and Hyundai cars and SUVs by restricting the operation of a vehicle's ignition system when someone tries to break in and start that vehicle without a key. Kia says it is working with local law enforcement to help drive the installation of the new anti-theft software in qualifying vehicles. Here's the great part: at no cost. Minneapolis's police chief encourages owners to take part in this effort.
2,150 Hyundais have been stolen in the city of Minneapolis this year. That's a significant increase from years prior.
He is also encouraging Kia owners to get the software update to help prevent vehicle thefts. All right, the quest for a new state flag continues this week as the state has unveiled a full list of submissions. KTTC's Quinn Gorham checks in on the process to explain how close we are to flying a new banner across Minnesota.
Submissions are in for the new emblem of the North Star State, and there's quite a wide array to pick from flags like this one to flags like this, to flags like this. Minnesotans got creative with their picks, and one lucky entry will go down in history in the state of Minnesota. The legislature has set January 1st of 2024 as the deadline to pick a new flag. Now that public submissions have run their course, it's up to the State Emblems Redesign Commission to pick a winner. Out of more than 2,100 submissions, just 5 will be picked as the finalists. Between flags with hot dish on them, monuments to the state's unofficial state bird, someone's wood table, and hundreds upon hundreds of loons, they have quite a variety to choose from. While many of the flags are funny or lighthearted, Anita Gall with the commission says they're really looking for one that captures the rich history of the state in its entirety.
What is a flag that represents all of us? And not just, racially or ethnically, but think about rural and urban. I come from greater Minnesota, the southwest corner of the state, and a lot of people have expressed to me, this can't just be a metro flag,
Once the 5 finalists have been selected, the commission will use the month of December to pick their winner. Any one of the 2,100 plus submissions could end up a winner, but some are more likely than others. The bottom line, the commission says the new state flag will embody everyone in the North Star State. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
So what do you think? Public comment on any of the state flags is encouraged throughout the selection process. You can check out all of the submissions online. We're going to include a link to that website on the web version of this story at kttc.com. I don't know about you, but nothing says Minnesota more than hot dish, does it? Still to come tonight at 5, a top takeaway from the debate in Miami yesterday. We'll have reaction from Washington on that debate. Plus, 'tis the season for fun runs, but before you lace up those running shoes, health experts say it's important to know your limits. And looking outside, speaking of going for a run, Nice day to do that today. As Nick said, a little windy though. Sounds like we're going to have to layer up for tomorrow. Those full details coming up in his first alert forecast. Back now to more coverage on our top story. As we said, Israel will begin to implement 4-hour daily humanitarian pauses of military operations going on right now in northern Gaza. Well, let's bring in KTT's White House correspondent tonight, John Decker. John, can you begin tonight by telling us any progress on this deal that would lead to, we're also being told, the release of more than 200 hostages right now Hamas is holding in Gaza?
Unfortunately, I don't have good news to convey. Those talks continue. The CIA director is actually in Qatar, as is his Israeli counterpart. They're in Qatar because Qatar has direct lines of communication with Hamas. But there's no deal that has been reached. Those 200 plus hostages, including a number of Americans, remain held against their will by the terrorist group Hamas inside Gaza. And there's no indication that their release or a deal is imminent anytime soon.
John, let's bring it back home now, turning to last night's Republican presidential debate, which we broadcast here on KTTC. Did this third debate featuring those 5 candidates on stage change the dynamic of the race for the GOP nomination?
Well, I think, Brock, the general consensus is that Nikki Haley, the former governor from South Carolina, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, had a very good night. Some polls indicate that she won the debate over her 4 competitors. And it's been a good environment for her in the sense that this was the third debate in which she's done exceptionally well, and that's reflected in her poll numbers consistently going upward. But in the big picture, is she getting close to Donald Trump? Or is anyone else getting close to Donald Trump, for that matter? And the answer to that is no. He still maintains a double-digit lead over his competitors. He's the clear frontrunner for the Republican nomination. And as good a night as Nikki Haley had last night, I don't think it changed the overall dynamics of the race for the Republican nomination.
As always, we appreciate the insight and analysis. White House correspondent John Decker reporting in Washington tonight. Thank you, John. We have a programming note for you now. Tonight on a brand new Dateline, after a man's body is found, his wife comes forward to reveal a shocking secret and a possible lead. Let's take a preview.
As day turned to night, Camilo Salazar's family knew something was terribly wrong. He'd been missing for hours. One reason for concern: Camilo would never do anything to make them worry. No way. This was not his M.O. He was reliable, always in touch. But friends and family were getting desperate.
And then they realized, wait a minute, this car's right there. It never left.
The vehicle was parked on the street. The driver's side window was down. No keys inside.
All right, there's obviously something really wrong here. And then everything started.
They notified police about the vehicle. And that's when an investigation into Camilo's disappearance officially started. An officer came to the scene just before midnight and had the SUV towed the following morning for the forensics team. But nobody at Camilo's house knew that another discovery had already been made in the far reaches of the county. About an hour's drive from where Camilo's family was searching.
It's not a place that you normally think of when you think of the glitz and glamour of Miami. It's scary. It's lonely, and that's where a lot of people go to dump bodies.
And again, that is tonight, right here on KTTC, beginning at 9 o'clock.
Here's your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jensen.
Now, I know a lot of people think you have so much control over what actually happens with the weather, but I wish we could just skip over tomorrow and get right to what's to come, right?
Well, you know, we kind of have to have the bad before we can really enjoy the nice, warm temperatures. I will say, if you want to complain about the weather when it's bad, and you complain about it to me, just give me a pat on the back when the weather's nice, right, Brock? Just a little pat on the back. I'll take just a little one when we have really nice temperatures on the way coming up next week. As Brock said, it will be cold. Temperatures tonight getting down close to maybe the upper 20s for some overnight lows here tonight. 44 outside currently. Lewis, not a live camera. Wind out of the west at 8 miles per hour. And I think those temperatures will get down into the 20s here tonight. The temperatures locally still looking at some 40s, 49 in Mason City. 48 in Forest City, and we have 45 Dodge Center in Owatonna. Wind out of the west. Wind is calmed, at least here in Rochester. 30-mile-per-hour gusts right now in Mason City. Have some stronger wind out to the west here where we see some of those bright colors. That's an indication on some really strong wind gusts. And we've peaked today at about 37, 40 miles per hour in some spots. But wind will calm here through most of the overnight hours. We stick with some strong wind until about midnight. And then notice through the day tomorrow, might not even have a wind gust. But the temperatures will be cold tomorrow. That's kind of the big change that we have on the way for Friday. So in terms of our wind gusts, notice they start to creep back into the forecast. Both Saturday, Sunday, even into Tuesday, those winds will be strong. But the strong southerly winds, not northwesterly winds like we've had the past couple days, will lead to those warm temperatures that we'll have in the forecast. Future track radar showing some rain. I do not think that any of this is really making it down to the ground here tonight. We still have what is called that temperature inversion, meaning we have a pocket of warm air. Our dew point doesn't follow our temperature profile, so that creates a pocket of dry air down towards the surface. Most of that should be evaporating here, I think, tonight. Really just looking at some cloud cover starting to move in terms of rainfall. Maybe a sprinkle, a quick little light shower here tonight, but nothing really too sizable in terms of accumulations. So tonight, cloudy, breezy, and cool. This weekend, strong wind. We just saw that. We could have some gusts Saturday, Sunday, 20 to 25 miles per hour, but temperatures are warming. Next week, upper 50s, and I do have some 60s in the forecast for next week. So Monday through about the following Sunday, looking unbelievable across the region coming up next week. We just have to get through tonight and tomorrow. Temperatures getting down close to freezing by midnight. Tomorrow we'll start things off upper 20s and some low 30s. We hang on to some of that cloud cover, and Future Track has us just barely making it to 40 degrees for highs tomorrow. We're probably stuck around 38 to 42 in terms of our temperatures locally, stretching from Goodhue County down towards about Mason City and Cerro Gordo County. Temperatures Friday night will get down into the 20s. Notice that wind starts to shift on Saturday, and we warm those temperatures pretty quick. So Saturday, we're in the mid to upper 40s. Then we jump 50s by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. We're starting to approach the 60s. Yes, I went bold. 60 degrees for the high coming up by next Wednesday. So really warm. Temperatures approaching, say, maybe 15, 20 degrees above average by next week. Tonight, right around seasonal averages, partly cloudy, 29 for the overnight low. A couple sprinkles here might be possible through the next hour or so. Tomorrow, high temperatures upper 30s and low 40s. So it will be cool tomorrow, below seasonal averages 39. Wind out of the northwest about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Locally tomorrow with some cloud cover, high temperatures staying there in some of those mid 40s south of I-90. I think if you're north of I-90, good chance you stay in the 30s. Normally, I show a 7-day forecast. We're going to go all the way out the next 10 days to look at next weekend, too, because that's how long the warmth will stay with us. So we're cool Friday, 39 for the high, 45 on Saturday. Then we get that nice warm stretch. We are looking at maybe 8 straight days in the 50s, 54, 55, 58. 60s on the way by Wednesday and Thursday, even the following weekend. We are still approaching the 50s both the following Saturday and Sunday. So a nice about 8 to 9 day stretch there where we're looking at above seasonal temperatures. Caitlin.
60s in mid-November, Nick. Wow, thank you. Changes are in store for a highly traveled interchange in southeast Minnesota. We're talking about Highway 52 and I-90. Tonight, more details from MnDOT. So we'll see you for that report tonight at 6. Brock will be back after this.
So this time of year, there are turkey trots, reindeer runs, and even a murder mystery 5K. But if you are planning on joining in on a fun run this holiday season, experts are saying you really need to know how to prepare now to avoid an injury later. So tonight in our Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains why fun runs should not be done on a whim and what you need to do to train for them.
'Tis the season for themed races, but you could trot your way toward an injury if you don't train properly.
Just going literally from the couch to the 5K is not a really good idea.
Orthopedic surgeon Timothy Miller with the Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center says not preparing your body can lead to injuries like muscle strains, tendinitis, IT band syndrome, even stress fractures from overuse.
You put a lot of additional stresses on your body when you do that. And not just on the musculoskeletal system where we think about it mostly, but also on the cardiovascular system as well.
Miller says if you're just starting to run, see a doctor to make sure you're healthy enough to take on long distances. If everything checks out health-wise, he says to start slow, training at least a month out for a 5K, building up mileage gradually. He also suggests varying the terrain.
So running on hard surfaces, for example, all the time, like hard sidewalks, hard pavement, can put a lot of additional stress on your body from what we call ground reaction forces, leading to injuries.
Have proper footwear that's supportive and fits well. Miller says to go up a half or full size in your running shoe to accommodate foot swelling. And he recommends breaking in new shoes before a race.
That means training them for at least a week or two to make sure you're comfortable with what their weight they're going to feel on your feet.
Miller advises fueling your body, and even when it's colder outside, hydration is still critical. For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
In addition, Miller says getting enough vitamin D is also important to bone and soft tissue health. He suggests supplements in the winter when your body is not getting as much of it from the sun. Okay, listen up. Mid-America Pet Food is expanding a recall of dog and cat food that started last week, which we told you about. Impacted brands now include Victor Super Premium Dog Foods, Wayne Feeds Dog Food, Eagle Mountain Pet Food, and some Members Mark varieties. They have the best buy dates before October 31st of next year. The problem is the food may contain salmonella. That can make pets sick, and also people who handle the food and don't wash their hands properly afterward. As of last Wednesday, 7 people had actually reported salmonella infections. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you want to make $40 million, maybe kind of quick, check your jewelry box.
If you have this in your jewelry box, you are a lucky person. This rare blue diamond sold this week for more than $44 million, in fact, making it the most expensive sold at auction this year. The Blue Royal is 17.6 carats, making it the largest of its kind. Christie's says that the bidding took 7 minutes, after which the diamond entered another private collection for the first time after more than 40 years. So, Christmas shopping for your wife. Did you buy it?
No, I don't think
Not that
so.
she's not worth it, right,
Wait,
Nick?
she's worth way more than that.
There you go. You saved yourself.
Yeah, no, that wasn't on the shopping list or her Christmas list this year.
Okay, something to think about,
Yeah,
right?
something to think about.
All right, we are out of time at 5. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. More news at 6.